you're in your early 20s, you're not going. There's no way. There was a lot of arrests happening back then. Like, a piece of hair would be out of your hijab, the scarf that we wear in Iran, and they would arrest you. So she was like, no way. So, but finally, I heard a voice tell me in my ear, tell her if grandma passes away and I'll never see her, I'll never forgive you. So I told her that. And I was on a flight to Iran. Um, the first night, after 2 weeks, I was in Iran, but my grandma would travel to come and see me. But the first night that I was scolded by my aunt to go and see my grandma, I literally saw a bald-headed man stand right in her house, and what caught my attention was the third eye. So for me, it was not the fact that I'm seeing a human being, this person in her house. It was none of that. It was really the third eye because it was so huge. And I just covered myself and I went back to the where I was sleeping on the floor, and I just, I kept saying, don't harm me. My grandma wakes up, I run to her, I tell her there's a man in your house. And I kept saying, it's a ghost, right? And so she just kept saying, yeah, it's a ghost. Don't worry about it. He's always around me. He's always here. Don't worry. And so, her being like my mom, she said that to me and I was like, okay, Satvachan, all good, moved on with my life. And I came back to Canada end of July 2003. And of course, my grandma, that was the last time that I saw my grandma. She left her body. And she was such a spiritual being. I just want to say a few things that I learned from her, which later I realized it was just commandments of Guruji Maharaj. She always told me to live simply. She always told me that my only religion should be good doing. I love Lily. She always told me that if God is squeezing you, or not in this term really squeezing, but she said, if God is putting you through hardship and pain, be sure that he knows you can handle it. He gives you just enough that you can handle. I don't think any of these is new to us Sangat. We all know that. And she always said, like, if people asked her why you're not telling Son how to pray, or she used to call me Sunny. So, why don't you teach Sunny how to pray, or how to, pray the Islamic prayer? She always said, you don't tell anyone what to do. If God wants to invite someone into his path or get her to do something, he's bigger than me to show it. So who am I to force someone or ask someone to do something? So again, all of his commandments, pretty much, like, I don't call anyone, I don't call anyone till it's their time. Nobody comes to me until it's they're calling, things like that. So she left. I was bedridden pretty much 3 years, but severity of ailments was for 6 years, 2012 to 2018, blood issues, a lot of ailments. Anyway, that's not important, but it happened in 3 episodes. Second episode, when it happened, I had a lot of mystical experiences, which is relevant to, Guruji Maharaj, which all of it is, but what stood out for me was one day when I came out from a mental institution, because at the second episode, it wasn't just physical, it turned into mental ailment. And when I came home, I literally saw a white light come from outside my window, and it got smaller and it came inside my stomach. But I healed the next day. I got my period. I wasn't getting my period. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't, anyway, I had bruises all over my body, hair fallen, all of it. Anyway, so the third episode, when it hit, it was 25th of December, 2017. And my only desire was to exit life. And that was it. I had set my mind into it. But no matter what I did, he would bring me back, because truly he has the remote. He has the remote of your life and everything. So, he wasn't pressing the end button. And it was sometime in June that I had his vision, and I heard a voice say to me. I did. And in July month, 1st of July, I go to this church, which is it's a miracle that I got there. And on the way to church, I was running and crying. And literally, when I get into this church, which was called C3, again, no coincidence in his doing. When I get there, they stop the music and they say, there's someone who's crying and running to church today, and God wants you to know that this suffering is over and land of grace is near. And truly, land of grace was what became apparent in my life. On the way back from this church home, I was stopped. My body literally stopped in front of this bookstore. They sell new and secondhand. So if you're done with your books, you can donate it to this bookstore, and they sell it for a very, very, very reasonable amount in Toronto. And it was inside this bookstore that I get a vision of the white light from 2 years back, and a voice that tells me, pick up the book right in front of you. Now, this book was not there. It's literally manifested, which is called Satsang, because I was there for an hour. And I remember just sending a prayer that God, just please bless me with the books that you want me to read. And it wasn't until I said that and I saw this book come right in front of my vision. And it was so amazing, because I saw the white light from 2 years back, and it just connected to the light and the light by Anita Kumar. So pick up the book, read the book. It's incredible, going back there, and now I'm literally sitting beside Anita Kumar, and it's in his world, anything is possible. And it's just incredible, his ways, and truly anything is possible, because in front of that church, he showed me a tattoo of a in front of, on someone's hand, saying anything is possible, which was in Arabic alphabet, mumkin, which caught my attention. And anyway, so pick up the book. I bring the book home, never read it, put it on the floor. 5th of July, I have a dream. I have a dream that I'm in a satsang. I've never been to a satsang, but I see, a very organized, very simple satsang. And I see a door on the left side. We're waiting for someone to come in, but a ball of energy comes in, and it goes right again into my soul, which is in this area of the body. And so I fall down. I become nauseous. I remember feeling that. I've never felt it in physical life. And I fall down. And I see Guruji Maharaj sleeping on a bed beside me. So of course I didn't know who it was. I just woke up, wrote it down in my notebook. Who was this man wearing a dress? Why was he wearing a dress? And who is this bald-headed man? So vivid, so colorful. I'm there right now, sleeping right beside me. And what caught my attention was really the dress, because it was why is he wearing a dress? Then life moved on. 2 days later, I get this inner vivid voice again, pick up the book and read the book. And I take the book, I open it. The moment I open it, a hand comes out, literally an invisible hand comes out and takes away most of the pain that I had in my scalp. My pain, severity of my pain was in my scalp. And takes away enough that I became, it was apparent to me that something is different. Then literally the one-on-one connection was more evident. Then I would ask a question, it would be answered in the book. I would ask a question, but it wasn't until I read about, I think Anita had written, or someone had written, Guruji Maharaj is the Lord Shiva. And again, he tells me to Google it. I Google it. I see the third eye. And at that point, I realized that I have seen a being. So he, tells me, look at the cover. I'm the bald-headed man that you saw in your dream 2 days ago. And I'm at that moment, the world is stopped and I'm in a bubble and I'm having a one-on-one. And I literally said, I need something special. And the next line that I read is, Guruji's special day is July 7th. And I look at my phone, and I had opened the book on his birthday. So you can imagine, I treated it as my Bible. I studied it I finished it that day, highlighted it, everything. I would ask a question, why am I suffering? It would be answered right away. Then, I read a lot of satsangs from Sangat that explained a lot of the things that I was asking, and he was answering. And it wasn't it was very new to me, and it's truly a book, just like any other book that's written about Guruji Maharaj. It's written by him. We're only instruments of him, and he literally answered everything that I had in my mind. And you have to realize, he injects the question, where does thought come from, and he answers it through the book. So then the desire comes. There was a satsang about an auntie who had Facebook for Guruji, and I was a Guruji. I'm not opening Facebook. But he guided me to Google his name. His website came. I found satsangs in Toronto. July 13th was the first day I walked into a satsang. I didn't bow to Guruji Maharaj. I just went in. I didn't know what I'm supposed to do. I sat down, and then the time comes to share satsangs, and that's when I hear him say, "Get up and share your satsang." And I was like, "No, Guruji, I'm not doing that." And he was like, "Get up and share your satsang." I said, "No, Guruji, I'm not getting up. I don't know where I am, what I am, who I am. I don't know." Everything was so new. You have to understand. And I was like, of course, how do you go from 6 years of suffering? And I still had like these twitches, like my neck would twitch like that. The severity of my pain was so much that I had these seizures, and also the twitch was like that then, but I was holding it. It was usually like this. Like at home, I was always twitching like that. And like literally I was like this, and I was like, I'm not getting up because I'm embarrassed. And I had all these ifs and buts. And so he was like, "Get up and share your satsang." I said no, and he's like, "Okay, I'll give you your headaches back." And he didn't give me the whole 300%. He gave me enough for me to realize that I've gotten headaches. So I was like, "Look, Guruji, I just need to know." And I learned right there that I'm being taught to get his agya. That's what I was learning. Everything he does, there's a teaching, and we have to ask him, "What are you trying to teach me through this?" And I learned that right off the bat. And I was like, "What do I learned that he wants me to get his agya." And I was like, "I just want to have your agya that I can get up and share satsang." And I'm not saying for everyone before you share to do that and wait for a miracle. No, he's already said it. Get up and share. I just want to say he knew I was at such weak state, and just like it's written in the Divine Light, he knows his weakest of the weakest disciples, so he injects faith. But you and I already at this point, like it's not like I go to a satsang tomorrow and I'm like, I'm waiting for a miracle to get up and share satsang. I already know that his word is get up and share your satsang, because none of this even belongs to you and I. It's all his divinity. It's all him. It's about him. He could have chosen another person. So to become, we have to remain humble and realize that in a snap of a finger, he can take it all away if we think that we're any different. And I know he tests all of us with that. And Shukrana to Guruji, he makes all of us feel special. But anyway, I was like, then I just, at that point, because I was so new and so weak, that I asked him that, and I know he was asking me. He was a satsang in making, and literally a girl walks out from a kitchen where they were doing langar, and she's wearing a t-shirt that has an arrow facing up with a rise, just literally rise, R-I-S-E, written in the middle. So that caught my attention, and he's like, "There you go, rise." And I did, and that was the last of all my ailments, literally. So when you are guided to share satsang, it's not, I always say, it's not just langar, it's not just shabad, it's not just being in satsang. It's literally you could be out on a subway, or you could be out on the street, and you could share your satsang, and that's your healing. He heals you. And that was for me. He literally healed me of all my ailments when I was sharing it. I truly felt it leave my body, because I right away went to the toilet after. And I've just, I was being cleansed. So of course life became a miracle. And I realized, Guruji Maharaj kept taking me back and connecting all the dots, and I realized he was evident, and he was there from day one in my life, looking at photos of my childhood. After my first initial, when I was bedridden for 12 months, I healed, and I remember we had a Halloween party, there was a Halloween party, and someone took a photo of me, and you can literally see Guruji Maharaj's darshan on the back of, like on the microwave. You can literally see him. Just things like that, he kept showing me, taking me back, and he takes you back. Took me back to my past lifetimes. I haven't shared this. I didn't get Agya to share this much before, but he took me to one of my past lifetimes. And after my second episode, when I had a lot of mystical dreams, I had one dream that I'm walking in this white building. It's so huge, like it's a tall building. And I'm walking with this bald-headed man wearing a dress, because I wrote all of these down and I had forgotten it. And I remembered that I was a man. I was not in this body. I saw myself, I was in a male body, and I was walking with Guruji Maharaj, and later I realized that that was Dugri Mender when the photos came out during Corona, because before that I had no access to, and I never asked for it. I knew and I know that whatever we're meant to see or experience comes and in his timing. And so, it's been a very amazing journey. I have to say it has not been, this way. It's been, as we all know, like this. No matter if you're Sun or Anita, or if you're Bambi or Janal Kapoor or whoever you are, that's life. You are gonna go through this. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that in Kali Yuga, our only purpose is Guruji, and our only purpose is to connect spirituality and to be an instrument of his. That's our only purpose. I know if that's for me. I don't have any other purpose in this life. No desire for marriage, no desire for status, no desire for anything materialistic. All I wanted in my life was this, and I felt empty all my life before Guru Maharaj. Whether I became a manager at a banking institution, whether I got the nice car and I bought my house, I always felt empty. I felt like there was more I had to get, and I kept running after it. And I got ill, and I got ill, and I got more ill, and looked for self-validation, and I was people pleasing, and just to get that validation, I was hungry for that. And I realized that I was seeking him. And since then, I would never walk out of my house without makeup, let alone be in front of his sangat, or, just my life was all about thinking what others would think of me. And it's all a satsang that, he takes you from what perception and what beliefs and what conditioning and what programming to what. And you live life truly authentically, and you live it with self-love, which I never had before. The squeezing of the lemon, like it's written in the Divine Light, is so important, because he himself has said that human beings have a wrong perception about suffering. And we truly do. I always thought it was bad, and that why am I suffering? Even after Guruji Maharaj came, I have to be honest with you, if anything happened, I was like, why Guruji? Like, I just went through those 6 years. Why am I going through this? I didn't truly understand that reality is his hukum. Whatever is happening is his hukum. And, it really has been a blessed journey, because he injects faith. And the more we spend time with him one-on-one, he, of course, one step towards him, he puts hundreds of steps towards you. And the squeezing of the lemon is a blessing, just like himself has said. I love those greatly who are being squeezed. And so no matter where I share this satsang, he always reminds me to say that if you're being squeezed like a lemon, you're very blessed. And I know, and he knows, that we're human, and it's so easy to say. It's so easy to say. And when it happens to us, it's just his lila for us to sit back with him. And it'll be a satsang in making, it'll be a learning, it'll be a blessing for sure. Blessings always. And so just some quick satsangs. I was not supposed to come to Dubai. Guruji tells me, go travel. There was some things happening in my own personal life. I was like, Guruji, I can't. Where am I going to go? Toronto had its second lockdown. And he said, no, go travel. And I was like, you know what? I leave it up to you. You do. And then one morning, 2 days or 3 days after, I get up, and the first thing, usually, our first thought is Guruji. Before we go to bed, it's Guruji. That day, when I woke up, the first thought was Anita. He told me in my ear, call Anita. That's all I heard. And so I called her. I was actually getting ready to go to a satsang in Toronto, and she was in a satsang. And she literally just picked up, didn't say anything, just said, Jai Guruji, come to Dubai. And I knew that was not her. I knew at that point that was Guruji. So I have to say, because, I haven't been working, of course, been healing for the last 2 years, and on this spiritual journey, I literally just said to Guruji, I will go to Dubai, but, the tickets are this and that, the ifs and buts. And I was trying to book through, instead of coming direct where the prices are a bit up, I was like, I'm going to go buy a ticket, connecting. And I literally was looking at some European destinations. This is his divinity that I literally was ready to book. The price was amazing, but I would be traveling for 23 hours. And I would be, anyway, so then every like other destinations that I looked connecting to Abu Dhabi, same way, connecting to Abu Dhabi, was 23, 24 hours. Then, I'm literally sitting with Guruji and saying, Guruji, Satvachan, whatever you want, I will do it. You're telling me to go to Dubai, no ifs and buts. Even if it's 5 days, I will go. And I understand that was kind of my testing, maybe. And so at that moment, I have this family friend, like family of mine, come in and says, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to Dubai. And this person is like, let me help you. I'll pay for it. I'll pay what I can. You pay what you can, and go direct. So, the moment he realized that I was 100% listening to him, he blessed me with, he blesses anyways. If he wants you somewhere, whether you listen or not, he will make it happen. So it's all him. He's so much bigger than our doing. So anyway, so then I'm literally amazed that, oh my God, I'm just going to be on the flight for 12 hours instead of 23 hours. And the day that I walk into the airport, had I booked through the European, or like the connecting European, I wouldn't have been able to travel, because that day only Europe decided that they were not going to let anyone come into their country, So like he wanted me to come direct, because he knew if I had gone to the airport to, I don't know where it was, now there were so many destinations, but I think it was London. Had I gone to London, like I would have not been able to travel. And so that's how I came, and it's truly his doing. We've come to understand that this is truly his plan for me being here. He only knows the full reason. I promised myself I'll share for half an hour, and then I'll give the rest, so I have a bit more. Couple of things. He has blessed, just quickly I'll share quick satsangs. My mom's mortgage was not going through. The banks rejected her, all the banks. We went to a B lender, which you pay more, the percentage is more on the loan, and usually you will get these loans. That also got rejected. So you understand, if the B lender rejects you, you have no other option. You have to give away your deposit, which was exactly $100,000, and you would lose all your money, and that's it. So my mom was severely disturbed. It was just a couple of months that Guruji Maharaj had initiated me. It was actually right before I went to Baramandir, before my travel, and I literally saw my mom so disturbed, and I remember having a one-on-one while standing in the kitchen and looking at her, and I was telling and he hears you always, all the time, and that's just an example for you here, that I literally standing in the kitchen, I'm going, Guruji, 6 years she suffered, and now again this. And all of a sudden Guruji says, look at her t-shirt. And my mom was not connected to Guruji at the time. She knew about him, but not connected at all. In fact, up to this day, my family, none of them are truly connected. It's his Leela, and I have accepted that. But they're all blessed, and it's so true. One member is connected, the rest are blessed. And so he says, look at her t-shirt. I look at it. She's wearing a peacock t-shirt, which has all her feathers, its feathers all around, and the peacock is looking inside the mortgage document. And you have to understand, like, he truly made it possible. We still to this day don't know how this bank accepted us, because all the banks had rejected us. So anyway, that's one. And my cousin had lung cancer. She was given 2 months to live. Guruji Maharaj, by just wearing a bracelet, she just listened to my satsang, of course, because she was very, she was also close to my grandma. And so we shared that how grandma used to see Guruji Maharaj always, and he even spoke to her, which I'll share after this, but she listened to it, she believed it. But of course you can tell if someone is initiated or not. She didn't pursue it, she didn't ask to come to satsangs, and I left it. I never force anyone, I never tell anyone. I remember always what my grandma used to say, that he's way bigger. If he wants someone to be connected, he will make a way. So then I remember I just said, you know what, wear this bracelet of Guruji Maharaj, and whenever you go to your your treatments. And she was just, you know, of course, she was given 2 months to live. What can I say to that? How do you feel? So she was just like, whatever, you know, she just kept saying in Farsi, whatever, whatever. And of course, she's healthy and happy and absolutely, you know, just how is this possible? And I'm sure if she comes to Toronto, she will come to satsangs with me. So she got healed, and the doctors are in shock. We know it's his way. Another friend of mine had a severe case of schizophrenia in Iran. Um, Guruji Maharaj healed her when she was literally locked up in a mental institution with she just had a 1-year-old baby. Like she just had a baby who was turned 1 year old. She was healed by Guruji Maharaj. What can I say? He's been, you know, 3 more minutes. He's been blessing me, and I really have realized that even if something doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't have to. As long as I know Guruji's in my life, he's taking care of everything. And again, going back to the divine light, which is literally my Bible, don't worry. He has said, you know, don't worry. If you worry, you have no faith. And I know as humans we do, but we have to keep remembering that if we worry, we're showing him that we have no faith in him. And again, another thing that he has said is, I will start thinking when you stop thinking. And our only option is to think positive no matter what's happening. And I will end it with this, that one day something happened in my personal life, and I was like, Guruji, how could this be your hukam? How could this be your doing? You know, this person is disrespecting me to the, like, it just doesn't make sense. Basically, I share that someone just moved into my house without ever asking me if that was okay. And of course it would have been okay, but you know, you just want to be respected enough to be told that, hey, I'm moving in to your house. So someone just came in and stayed in my house, our house, you know, Guruji's house. But you know, I just didn't feel right. Wasn't getting good energy. And I literally kept saying to Guruji, Guruji, what are you trying to teach me? And I was like, how is this your hukam? And of course, I had to learn to speak up, because I thought that spirituality was accepting everything. And I had such a wrong perception of it. I had no self-love, and I learned a hard way that I have to respect myself and I have to speak up, but in a kind way, which Guruji Maharaj, forgive me, I did become very reactive in this situation. And I really had to go to all parties and apologize. And of course, more than anything, seek his apology. And he kept showing me that I am here in this Kali Yuga to forgive. I am here to forgive. So don't worry, as long as you're aware of it, it's all fine. And literally, I just kept saying, Guruji, I just want to understand. Like I hear Shabbats, fine. I don't understand them. I go and get translations, fine. But I want to understand the deeper meaning of these translations. And then he brought this gentleman into my life named, his YouTube page is called Nanak Naam, and he translates Gurbani into English. He's literally Guruji in a different form for me, because I had prayed for Gurbani for a deeper meaning, not just translations, you know. And literally he comes into my life, and the first video that I see on YouTube is named Hukum and Fantasies. And Guruji Maharaj answered everything that was happening in my life. And I truly ask everyone to watch it if you can. Nanak Naam, Hukum and Fantasies. If you write that, it'll come up. And it literally said one thing that just made everything, put water on this fire. And it said, reality is Hukum. This is Hukum. Whatever I've said is Hukum. What's happening in your life is Hukum. The people who are on this page is his Hukum. We all know that. I mean, we know that. But then something happens in our life and we're like, are you kidding me? How is this Hukum? But then everything is that person coming into my house. Everything that happened was Hukum, because I had to learn to stand up for myself, to respect myself, to say no, and be okay in saying no. Like I said, I had and truly seek more. It got me to sit with him more. So how could that be a bad thing? And again, it takes me back to what he said, that human beings, especially to Anita, that human beings have a different and a wrong conditioning and idea of what suffering is, and they don't know the deep meaning of it. I think truly for me, the deeper meaning of it is that it gets me to connect to him. So wow, you know. So Shukrana, thank you so much, Guruji. I don't want to go over. I will hand it to Anita, and thank you every moment to Guruji Maharaj. It's all him. It's always been him. It will always be him anyway. And I don't have anything but shukrana to this Sangat Parivar, because truly I have just understood in the past couple of months what he has given, as Parivar. So shukrana, Jai Guruji. Thank you so much, Sangat Ji. Jai Guruji Maharaj. Thank you. Jai Guruji.
Thank you, son. Thank you so much.
So I will pass to Anita.
Yes,
Just audio
yes.
though. Yeah. Jai Guruji Maharaj.
Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Aunty.
So I have a cold actually, so I'm going to be on audio, not video today, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
Jai Guruji, so much gratitude for this opportunity. And thank you so much for having me on the platform. Can I share from the beginning, or is there a particular aspect you'd like me to share?
Anything, Aunty. Anything you are comfortable with.
Okay, so I'll try and condense it, because I know there's a lot of time has elapsed.
Yeah.
So I had gone from pillar to post in my journey, and I'd gone to many babas and gurus and pandits, really in vain, very disappointed, dejected, very commercial, and I had given up on gurus. And then in '97, Bambi Aunty, she was a very dear friend of mine, and she just said that you come to Guruji. And I resisted, she insisted, and after a point I gave in, and I said, okay, I'll come for you. So just to oblige her, I went. And as I walked in, now I was always a seeker. I think, it is no coincidence that when we meet our God, when we meet Guruji, it is a calling, and also it's an invitation from God Himself. So as a child, I always asked the question, who am I? What is my purpose? And 25 years later, it was revealed. I was meant to meet Guruji. I was born to meet divinity himself, so that my spiritual journey could begin, or perhaps continue from many incarnations. So I walked into Chota Mandir, and as I bowed to him, I just knew this is it. My search is over. I have found my home. I have finally found my destination. Guruji smiled at me very benignly, and he said, "Tu roz aaya kar." So I did. I started going every day. Like we say, there's a lagan, and I began going. It was literally love at first sight. And then, as I was sitting with him, my asthma attack triggered, and I then what happened is um, my asthma attack triggered, and he said, "Ki langar kha." And I said, "Guruji, I cannot eat this heavy food." It was aloo gobi dal. And I said, "Guruji, mujhe steroids chahiye. I take steroid injections. I've been taking them for many, many years, twice a year, for 2-3 months, 2-3 weeks at a time. And it's become a pattern. From 88 to 97, I used to be in the ICU every changing season in Delhi. And that was just a way of life for me. And he said, "Agar tu theek hona hai, te chup karke langar kar, ਇਹ ਆਲੂ ਗੋਭੀ ਦਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਇਹ steroids ਹੈ." So logical mind अपना बाहर ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਕਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਆਨੀ ਹੈ, ਜਦੋਂ ਜੂਤੀ ਉਤਾਰ ਕੇ ਆਨੀ ਹੈ. So I did not understand the deeper meaning of that at that point. I was reduced to tears. I ate, but I really didn't understand what he meant by that. And I ate, and as I bowed him to take Agya, I just said, "I'm not coming here again, Guruji." And I said this telepathically, and verbally he responded, "Kal aa jai." And again I said, "From here I'm going to go straight to hospital, and I am really not coming here, because Guruji is so harsh." He suddenly looked at me again and he said, "Tu hospital nahi jana, तू सीधा घर जाए, तेरा कल्याण किता जा, ऐश कर. I did go home that night. The long and short is, I never got asthma ever again, and I was never hospitalized for asthma ever after that one langar. So this is the power of our langar. This is the power of our Gurbani. This is the power of Guruji's supremacy, and it cannot be undermined. In fact, words fall short to literally share our satsang also, because every moment with Guruji becomes a satsang. Like Sanha shared, that what is happening even today is unbelievable. And I would like to go further to say that this pandemic has been an eye-opener for many. It has been a moment for us to truly introspect, reflect on what truly matters in life. And He has enabled us to redefine our values and our beliefs during this time. We have shed off so many things. We realize we don't need as much as we have been accumulating or hoarding, because He's teaching us to let go and let God. He's teaching us to truly embrace what matters in life. My satsangs, of course, people have heard, but I will reiterate in a very brief manner that He healed me of my skin cancer. And He did say to me, after healing me, that मैं तेनू नींबू दी तरह निचोड़िया है, ਹੁਣ तू जा ऐश कर, तेनू नवी जिंदगी देती है. तू तू पिछले साल एस्ट्रोलॉजी को गई सी और ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਕਿ December 97 ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੇਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਸਹੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਨਵੀਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਦੱਸ ਕੌਣ ਵੱਡਾ, ਤੇਰਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਜਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਐਸਟ੍ਰੋਲੋਜਰ? ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਇੱਧਰ ਉੱਧਰ ਜਾਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਕੋਲ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਕਰੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇ, which means to truly and absolutely love Him, and to truly and absolutely, without any shadow of doubt, believe in Him. Faith is knowing that, not knowing that He can, but knowing that He will. He will, undoubtedly. There and there nahi hai. And there are not denials, but there are delays in God's home. But there's reason for that. We are all here to cleanse our karmas, and sometimes it takes time. It is bound to. We have had many incarnations, not just this. So it is literally a journey of the soul. Guruji said, मेरे को कोई चंगी चीज नहीं मंगन आंदा. सब समझते ने मैं दुकान खोली हुई है ते अपनी शॉपिंग लिस्ट लैन देने कि मैनू ए दे दो, ਵੱਡਾ ਮਕਾਨ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਗੱਡੀ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ. तो ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਗ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੰਗ ਛੋਟੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ. ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਮੰਗੋ, मनो मंगो नहीं. तो क्योंकि मांग के, जैसे सपोज करो आप मारुति मांगते हो सकता है मैंने आपको टाइम से मर्सिडीज देनी हो, लेकिन आपने अपनी मांग छोटी कर दी, जिद करते हो कि मुझे मारुति ही चाहिए और गुरुजी मुझे चाहिए. And when we do that with obstinacy, then Guruji has to grant us our wish. But in the larger scheme of things, it may not even be good for us. He said, "Tonu diwar tak nazar aanda hai, mainu bahut agge tak nazar aanda hai." So we have a myopic vision. He has an infinite vision. And with his infinite vision, he plans our lives. He rewrites our destinies. Before coming to him, everything is pre-written. After coming to him, everything is rewritten. He did enable me, gave me the strength and the courage to go through my health karmas. After he left his body, on leaving his body, he said, "Ki teri seva hai, tu satsang kitta kar." Now I truly believe, and I have seen it in my life, that when Guruji grants us a seva, it is truly for our own kalyan. And of course, when I share satsang, it is him and infusing his energy and making me speak, because I do remember the first time I stood to share, my knees were literally, they were shaking and I was profusely perspiring. And he said, "Cha khadi ho," chote mandir mein tha us time, in Guruji's presence. He said, "Khade ho, apna satsang suna." So I literally said 2 words. I said, "Guruji ne mera cancer theek kiya, mera asthma theek kiya, Jai Guruji." And I sat. And Guruji started laughing. Literally. He said, "Tenu satsang bhi nahi sunana aanda." So I said, "Yeah, no, Guruji, mujhe nahi aata." And after that, I prayed कि गुरुजी कभी मुझसे बुलवाना नहीं, because I really was very nervous, very edgy. And on leaving his body, he said, तेरी सेवा सत्संग कितना कर. So I looked at him and I said, गुरुजी, लेकिन मुझे तो सुनाना नहीं आता. He said, मैं सुनाऊंगा. तू सिर्फ this I will speak through you. So that's the beauty of Guruji. So when he gives us a seva, I truly believe कि हमारा ही कल्याण हो रहा होता है, and सुनने वाले का भी कल्याण हो रहा होता है. दोनों तरफ blessings चलती हैं. But whatever seva he gives us, we must do it with our heart wholeheartedly and without any ego, because we are simply his vessels, and we are there to carry whatever message or whatever kalyan he has to do. So it's all him, and we are just the blessed ones. And I really feel blessed to be here today sharing also. Just the long and short is, after he left his body, and he did say on leaving that jaga jaga meri jyot jalegi, across every continent, country, city in the world is going to have satsangs. At that point, it was inconceivable to my mind that how would that ever happen. And he said, लाइना लग जानियां ने वड्डे मंदिर दे बात तो हैरान होंदी जाएंगी, एक एक बंदा आएगा. And I used to have a bone of contention. I said, Guruji, मैं आती हूँ, लेकिन मेरी पूरे परिवार मानता नहीं है. And they all look at me as if I've lost the plot. He said, तू फिक्र ना कर, एक दिन आएगा, एक एक बंदा आएगा तेरी फैमिली तो, लेकिन एक बंदा भी आंदा है फैमिली तो ते पूरी फैमिली ਨੂੰ मैं ब्लेस कर देनी. ते फिक्र नहीं करना, शुक्र कर और जिक्र कर, बस ਮੈਨੂੰ याद किता कर. कार बैठ के एक दिन आएगा ਜਦੋਂ तू कार बैठ के याद करेंगी. And that day has arrived. I never thought this day would arrive. I mean, that we would stop for a while, to stop going to Bara Mandir, Chota Mandir, and that journey would just be a chapter in our lives, and the pandemic would be another chapter. But it has been a truly awakening year. 2020 has been truly a spiritual year for those who are seeking, and it has been the most profound, the most, I think, the most enlightening year of my life, in the sense that um, as soon as the pandemic started, I happened to be in Dubai visiting my daughters, and the lockdown was announced in Dubai, and I could not go back. I'm a British passport holder, and India had just banned all foreign nationals and all foreign passports. It was a blessing in disguise. So everything that happens in our lives, at that moment, it may feel like the world has, you know, closed his doors on you, but you realize in hindsight that Guruji has opened his doors to you, and that is the most important door that we can all enter. And as the lockdown happened, I realized, wow, I'm with my daughters, and we are getting quality time after many years of living independently from each other, as they are now almost touching 30 and truly independent, you know, successful with Guruji's grace in their own fields of endeavor. Both are into yoga, and that is his, you know, meher on them. They were 7 and 8 literally when they started going to Guruji and with me, and Guruji just blessed them. They said, you know, I don't know Shiv Bhakt ne tere bacche. I didn't understand that, but of course, as I said today, in hindsight, there's so much that Guruji had shared, and he said, time now samajh aanda hai. So the wisdom, the gyan also comes with time through living our lives. And when we look back, we realize how petty, how trivial, how resentful, how insecure, how, you know, irrelevant to everything really is, when we understand the bigger picture and the bigger meaning of our lives. We have learned, especially now in this lockdown, I have learned to let go of so much of my past um, anger, resentment, bitterness, and whatever Guruji has taught me, you know, कि दया होनी चाहिए मन ਵਿੱਚ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਤੇ ਮਾਰਾ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਬੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਮਾਰਾ ਵੀ ਮਤ ਬੋਲੋ. And truly to be compassionate, he said, ਨੀਵਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਲ ਲੱਗਦਾ, ਔਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚੰਗਾ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਬਣੋ, be a giver, be a kind hearted person, be the queen of hearts. Just be a giver. कहते हाथ देन वाला होना चाहिए था, लैन वाला नहीं. And दान करो. गुप्त दान, गुप्त पाठ, गुप्त सेवा. God bless everyone. But what had started happening, particularly I would feel Delhi, and I'm not criticizing or condemning anyone or judging anyone. I'm nobody to do that. But I really feel that my journey, I can speak for myself, had become external. यहाँ सत्संग हो रहा है, वहाँ सत्संग हो रहा है, बड़े-बड़े सत्संग भी हो रहे हैं. So my focus, because I want to speak just for myself, my focus had actually become external. कि मुझे जाना है इसके सत्संग, उसके सत्संग जाना है. And मुझे सत्संग share करना है. And the decor used to be absolutely extravagant. The langar used to be extravagant. Everything became about flamboyance. Everything became about, I suppose Delhi. Guruji used to even say about Delhi, कि दिल्ली दी हवाई मारी है. दिल्ली which पैसा बोलदा है. So even satsangs had become, I felt personally that it was all about किसकी catering ज़्यादा अच्छी थी, किसका लंगर ज़्यादा अच्छा था, किसकी decor ज़्यादा अच्छी थी. We were not really focusing on the energy of Guruji sitting there and not connecting to the energy. But today I have that opportunity because I was flying all over the place also, literally from one continent to another sharing. So my journey had actually become external, and it is important to give your soul time, to give your, to apply Guruji's teachings into your own lives. Like Guruji said, Anita, jadoo tu haspatal ch leti rehndi si. Of course, I'm trying to, condense my satsang, but there's so much emotion there. And the emotion is that when I look back into my life, I was literally born with hole in the heart, asthma, eczema. So I was a very sick child, and that my parents had been told that your daughter will not live beyond 10 years of age. So it just goes to show that Guruji was with me even then, at birth, from birth to now, and beyond, also above and beyond. So my parents went through so much trauma for me. They are no more today, but when they were there, that's the time when I had connected to Guruji while they were present in my lives. And I do believe that he said himself कि मैं तेरे माँ बाप का भी कल्याण करता है. मैं एक एक बंदे दा तेरी family तो कल्याण करता है, whether they believed in him or not. So Guruji's journeys has many layers, and there's many layers to his blessings, and we only get to understand the wisdom in hindsight. जब हम अपना life का canvas compare करते हैं, what I was 20 years ago, 25 years ago before meeting Guruji to today, there's a difference of day and night. I think before I speak, I think before I act, and I take a pause, I reflect, I take his permission, and then I proceed. I really feel this is the most, blessed journey, and the pandemic has come as a blessing in disguise, because today I really feel whatever Guruji taught me, कि मैनू याद किता कर, एक घंटा याद किता कर, meditate किता कर, शुक्राना कर, हर पल शुक्राना कर. I get that time consciously now, and don't just pray for yourself. This is not a journey just about yourself. Pray for others. जब हम दूसरों का कल्याण मांगते हैं, nothing specific. He said ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ नहीं पता दूसरे दे की कर्म है. तो ऐसे करके specific नहीं मांगना, but just say कल्याण करो गुरुजी. दुनिया का कल्याण करो. ABC का कल्याण करो, XYZ का कल्याण करो. But nothing specific, because like I remember one day I said, Guruji, isko ye problem hai, iski problem please theek kar do. So I've had first hand reprimands, when he reprimanded me, and he said, tenu ki pata odi ki journey hai, aisa nahi mangeda, sirf bol kalyan karo, tenu pata nahi. So we have to go through whatever we have to go through, but gold is only polished when it has to go through fire. So each of us has to go through our journey, our struggle, our strife, but we all come out the other side shining with his love. Can I just share my most beautiful and priceless satsang about the glow?
Yeah,
Um,
please, Auntie.
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
okay, if I
sure.
can just take 2 minutes, literally.
Yeah,
Yes,
please,
yes,
please.
please do so.
Okay, so you know, uh, I used to be the biggest cheat in my life, in the sense, you become greedy for Guruji's love, really greedy. And he used to say, "Sat baje aaya kar, jadon sangat lagdi hai." I used to reach at 5, hoping that Guruji would call me into his, small room in Mandir, his private room. And, with his grace, only his meher, not that I was special, I am not. But he used to call me 9 out of 10 times. He used to call me into his room. And there were always special blessings. And I really thrive on them. I live by the memories of them. And one fine day I walked in, and there was a beautiful woman sitting next to him from Pakistan, and she was pressing his feet. She had come for the first time. So Guruji has literally crossed all borders, all religions, and he has really broken down the walls of us, religion, because he used to say, spiritual bano. Religion really does build boundaries, while spirituality breaks the walls. So anyway, this lady was sitting next to him, pressing his feet, and she had the most beautiful complexion. She had the glow that I envied and wanted. And there was a pin drop silence. There was just Guruji, there was this lady, and there was me. And I sat a little behind, admiring her. I just bowed to Guruji and I sat behind and I just started admiring this woman. And telepathically, I was just saying in my head, the internal dialogue was, I wish, wow, what a beautiful woman. I wish I had a glow. I wish I was as beautiful as her. I wish, that I could have this glow. Guruji is sitting silently, smiling at me, and I don't even notice Guruji. I only focus on her. Now, in the afternoon, I had a friend come over and she had tea with me. And every tea becomes Jai Prashad, as we know today. And even then, I had the same question. And, Guruji Sarup was there and she had the tea and she put the juta cup in front of Guruji Sarup. Inadvertently, of course, she was not connected to Guruji and she did not value my sentiment. So immediately I said, "Oh, Guruji ke samne juta nahi rakhte. Don't put the juta in front of Guruji." She said, "Okay, no problem, no offense." And I said, "I'm really sorry, but just don't do that." And she said, "Okay, don't be touchy." And then that evening, Guruji said, "Chai Prashad Anita Mangwama." So my focus, instead of Guruji, I looked at the woman. I said, "Hanji Guruji." And my dialogue continued. Guruji smiled even more. Now the Chai Prashad came. I had it. That lady had it. And as soon as she had it, she kept the juta in front of Guruji's charan, inadvertently, not realizing what she's doing. So Guruji smiled even more. And then I closed my eyes. I said, "What a shameless woman. From what a beautiful woman to what a shameless woman. How can she keep juta in front of Guruji?" So Guruji's smile broadened, and then he looked at me and he broke the silence of the room. And he just looked at me and said, "Anita, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਝੂਠਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖੇਦਾ। ਫਿਰ ਤੇਰੇ glow ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਾ। ਤੈਨੂੰ glow ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ?" I looked at him absolutely astonished and totally shocked out of my brains. I looked at him, I said, "Oh my God, he was with me in the afternoon, first of all. So he is completely omnipresent. Secondly, he can hear my thoughts. So therefore, he used to say telepathically, mere naal connect karo." Just because the Sangat has grown by leaps and bounds in millions across the world, and his database, of course, has increased manifold, does not mean that he cannot hear us when we pray to him or speak to him. Chalde firde jado, like you said, chalde firde paat karo, chalde firde manu yaad katta karo. Mantra jap ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਮਨ ਹੀ ਮਨ ਚਲਦੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। गुप्त पाठ करो, दिखावे दा पाठ नहीं। Any satsang karo to साथ ही Facebook में डालो, which a lot of people had started doing. But the point is, this is such a sacred space between you and your God. It's a divine energy flowing between you and Him. And all we need to do is truly love Him in our own private space. Gupt Path, Gupt Dan, Gupt Seva. गुप्त दान इज ऑल्सो कि हम दान करें और किसी को पता ही नहीं कि हमने दान किया। आजकल हम बहुत दिखावे की दुनिया में रहते हैं कि हम दान भी करते हैं, हम कहते हैं कि हमने किया, ठीक है ना, उस चैरिटी में दिया, आपका क्या ख्याल है, ठीक किया ना हमने. So we want validation, but the only validation we should actually seek is his, and truly connect to him whichever way you can. One day I asked a Sangat, his name is Rohit, and I was in hospital, and I had a couple of surgeries, couple of procedures. This is after Guruji left his body. It was around 2011, and I was a lost soul. I was very lost after Guruji left. I was even more lost before I met Guruji. I mean, truly a lost soul. I used to find that the world is an illusion, and I was seeking God, and I found God one fine day, because that's, like they say, seek and you shall find, ask and you shall receive, knock and the door will be open to you, literally. And Guruji opened the door. And but after he left his body, we all felt orphaned. We felt, where are you, Guruji? And I was asking when Rohit Kapuri came to my rescue, and he just said to me, I said, Rohit, I'm very lost in life. And I was newly divorced, and I said, raising two beautiful daughters, kind of, as a single parent, I had many sort of challenges in my life at that point, in that chapter of my life. And I said, Rohit, what is my purpose? I really need to know. He said, your purpose Guruji has given you, that, you share your satsangs. But the other purpose, which I immediately can reveal to you, is that, you're such a, I said, exactly, I'm so talented, but I have nowhere to apply my talent. I'm a calligrapher. I can write well. I know I can do all this, but what's the point? He said, your talents are for Guruji. They are from Guruji, and they're for Guruji. So why don't you use your calligraphy to make sketches of Guruji and distribute them among Sangat? You see how Guruji will bless them. And if you can write, if you can string two words together, then why don't you start writing books on Guruji? I said, I have never done that. You said, do it. Maybe this is your, purpose, your journey, besides sharing satsangs. So my way of connecting to Guruji is when I'm sitting with my pen on paper and I'm doing my Ganeshis, or I'm doing whatever butterflies in calligraphy. uh, I just I just lose myself, and that is my meditation. That is truly where I lose myself and I find him. And that is the beauty of it, that you use your work, your talents for him. Because, as they say, what we are is God's gift to us, but what we make of ourselves is our gift to God. And every teaching has to be applied. And कहते थे, किसी ना गाल भी करो, like Guruji never judged us for all the wrongdoings, for all the sins that we have committed over many incarnations. So who are we to judge anyone? He said ABC, accuse, blame, criticize ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ journey ਤੇ focus ਕਰੋ. ਦੂਸਰੇ, like he said in his jest, in his humor, he said, ਚਾਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਲੋਕ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ, unga, dunga, sunga, chunga. So sunga ni bano, dunga bano. Dunga is the one who, comes for depth, to understand the deeper meaning of Gurbani, and to truly apply it in our lives, to implement it, and to inculcate the values, that into each other. And that's why he said, मैं जा रहा पर मैं अपने गुरु परिवार छड़ के जा रहा. ਤੁਹਾਡਾ परिवार अपने परिवार को भी ज्यादा ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ प्यार करेगा और काम आएगा. So during this pandemic, we are so blessed, because I think no matter where you are, we have still continued the satsangs in our homes. Not a moment has gone by when we haven't thought about satsangs, or we have not had langar. Bhog lagao, apne mani man jyot jalao Guruji ko. It's not about the physical, it's about the spiritual again. So अगर आप visualize कर रहे हो कि गुरुजी साथ बैठे हैं आपके, सामने बैठे हैं आपके, और आप घी का दिया लेते हो और आप जोत जलाते हो, तो coming back to the glow, he said, तेनू glow चाहिए ते रब कोलो रब मंगलो, असली चीज मंगला. So the point is, today I see that glow permeate every aspect of my life, from my relationship with my daughters to my calligraphy or writing or whatever it is, to the glow of my relationships. And my health has also over the years been managed well, And, obviously, it's a physical body, it's a vehicle. It is bound to get rusty, it is bound to get, ill also. But by and large, today, at the age of 55, if I may say, I have more energy. His son has been staying with me in the last few. I'm privileged to have her, I'm blessed to have her. We're sharing the same room. And, I'm she's amazed. She said, I have not seen this side of you, this energetic side of you. I said, I didn't have it earlier. 20 years ago, I was an older woman and I felt old. I felt tired. I felt dejected. And I felt that, I have no life force in me. Today, I feel younger. I feel that I am the first on the dance floor and the last to leave. And Guruji has, infused this life force in me which was truly not there. And it cannot just come to you just like that. It has to be blessed upon you. He is the biggest bestower. And all he said, which is a very big word with a deeper and bigger meaning, surrender. I know it's very hard, but as we know, faith is the greatest currency we have in today's Kali Yuga. He said, he prepared us by enabling us to go for satsangs and to understand the deeper meaning to our existence. He said कि बड़ा मारा टाइम आ रहा है, अगे देखी नहीं था, मैनू बहुत कुछ नजर आ रहे हैं, बड़ा मारा टाइम आ रहा है, पॉजिटिव रहो और नाम जपो, नाम ही काम आएगा, बाकी सब ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ, ਨਾਮ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈ, ਬਾਕੀ ਕਮਾਈਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੰਗੋ, connect to him, love him. He is our father, our mother, our best friend infused in one. Don't think that he is some distant energy. He is an energy within us. He said, मैं ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਿਲ ਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ, ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ, converse with me and make me an essential part of your life. Make me one with you. So when we have that attitude that Guruji is within us and he is accessible, yaad karo. I mean, even when I look in the direction of my daughters, they are bound to look in my direction back. So why would Guruji not? So when we look at him and gaze into his eyes, he obviously looks back at us. So just remember him, love him, and know if you are going through some struggle today, know that this too shall pass. Everything is temporary. Nothing is permanent. I mean, our lives are not permanent. So how can our problems be permanent? So, just enjoy this journey to the fullest. Be full of joy. Be full of gratitude and have a magnanimous heart. Ask for it. I asked for it. I had my insecurities once upon a time, particularly as a single woman. I had financial insecurities. I had so many deep insecurities. And today, and then I prayed over the years, Guruji, mera dil bahut bada kar do. Guruji, mera haath dene wala ho. I want to be what you have asked me to be. Just help me to be that. Make me an instrument of your purpose, maybe an expression of your medium of your expression. And I asked for it, and I still ask for it. Let not each of us lives be in vain. Let it have a higher purpose. Let us be the torchbearers. Let us be his children. Let us be a beacon of light and a beacon of hope, because the world needs it. The world is in darkness. So let us all connect each other to Guruji, to divinity, to love, to the highest Lord, to the supreme power that is Guruji. So, Jai Guruji, and thank you again for enabling me to share whatever he makes me share. But don't lose hope. I say to those who are truly ailing or truly going through some pain that Guruji is with us. He is with us and he's within us. Jai Guruji.
Auntie, it was really beautiful. It's always a pleasure to hear you. And I would like even Rohit to unmute himself because Rohit is here. He's our school friend also. Rohit?
Yeah, I did give him the option. And
Okay.
Anita Aunty and Sun Aunty, it's been a beautiful satsang. And I just wanted to just highlight one thing. While you were doing satsang, Guruji's omnipresence was so strong that he was just smiling at you both. With
Oh,
Wow.
blessings, it was The tears were just falling from my eyes. And it was unbelievable experience while the sharing was happening. So Anantam Shukrana for blessing the entire Guru Parivar with your beautiful, deep touching satsang with so much of wisdom. Thank you, Guruji, for getting you here. Anantam Shukrana.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Rohit
you.
is,
Thank
I
you,
have
sir.
given him an option to unmute, but we'll unmute everybody so that everybody can,
Yeah,
the
thank.
good wishes
Oh,
and
we have even Thayaji with us. Even
what
he is like attending. I'd send him the link. Thayaji,
I am.
yeah.
So thank you for blessing the entire Guru Parivar. I'll just unmute everybody. All can, yeah, unmuted everybody.
Jai Guruji.
Guruji.
जय गुरु जी
Rohit,
शुक्राना गुरु जी शुक्राना
Yeah.
गुरु जी